how do we start these?
Okay, well,
oh yeah, if I sit like this, how's that look?
That's good. That's good. Actually, I can do the same. Wait,
right?
Wait, give me a high five here. No, other way.
Next topic.
Okay. What Brandjectory isn't? Brandjectory is not crowdfunding, nor is it a cold calling platform, and why? Tom Malengo, your thoughts.
So, what we've learned, and what we've seen, what we've lived through is that brands sometimes feel good with just that sort of constant action, right? The founder feels good. Oh, I sent out pitch decks, and I've sent all these pitch decks out, and I posted this on LinkedIn, and it's sort of that spray wide and hope that you're hitting something, and that is the way so many founders, they especially in those early stages, they just feel like it's action if they get out there. And cold calling works. I mean, you get your pitch deck out there, your pitch deck's getting transferred around, and hopefully the right person will see it. But it's hard to build relationships that way. And what we didn't want Brandjectory to be was a cold calling site. We didn't want people just to sort of, propagate what they did through email in Brandjectory. We want it to be human connection. And even though we're virtual in that sense, we are trying to get people one-on-one, so that the conversation, even if the conversation isn't meaningful today in terms of this is the investor who's going to invest in me, the conversation is meaningful because this is what I'm learning from the investor. I'm getting to know the investor. The investor knows who I am. And from what we've seen, because of the investor's real integrity and love for this arena of goods and desire to see it grow, that they're willing to give contacts, they're willing to give the right lead, and they're willing to keep the relationships going. And that's really exciting, because that in the long term is what's going to make the difference. The chances of sending out thousands of emails, hundreds of emails, and getting the one response that's going to make a difference near term or long term, it's not going to happen like that. Somebody's going to know you, somebody's going to be interested in you, somebody's going to take you on as a project or as a mentor, and really help you grow. And so that's why we don't want Brandjectory to be a cold calling system where brands can just send out pitch decks or executive summaries. We want them working with their profile, building information about how their successes and their story is growing, and get involved with the investors, so the investors always want to know more. And people have to remember, that's the thing of the pitch deck. The pitch deck isn't necessarily land a deal. The pitch deck is to keep the interest going, to get that investor to ask more questions, to get that investor interested enough to send it somewhere else. So we're trying to couple all that together with the more one-on-one human connection. So we're not a cold calling system. And likewise, Michael, maybe you want to talk about why we're not a crowdfunding system.
Well, actually, I just would add to why it's not cold calling is because we know we know founders are hustlers, and if they had a list of investors they could just email, we know that they would do the work. But we also knew, which is one of the reasons why we started Brandjectory, was because that way is inefficient. You don't know if the person who you're emailing is the right fit, if they're the right stage, if they're even investing in CPG. And so we wanted to bring more efficiency and productivity and effectiveness to the process by making sure that, number one, all the investors on the platform are CPG, but then also that when the brand and founder is ready to speak to the investor, that when the founder is presenting or talking to the investor, it's because they are ready to speak to the investor. There's been some preparation, getting capital ready, knowing what the expectations are for the investor are, so that they can have a more productive conversation with the right type of investor. and not just, spraying out a couple hundred emails. And to your point, making it feels like that's action, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good use of time. So by trying to make it a bit more methodical, maybe it doesn't happen quite as fast, or it doesn't feel like there's as much action occurring because it's not, a whole bunch of emails all at once. But it's actually can be that much more productive when the actual interaction occurs. Kind of
How about if we
pretending like
shake
they were
hands?
together.
Wait, if we shake hands, no, that doesn't work. Oh, we actually, well, okay, wait a minute.
Oh.
That works. You know what I did?
Oh. Well, it's off screen, so.
It's off screen.